Ladies and gentlemen, it has come to my attention that I am the only One Piece YouTuber that has yet to do a reaction on the One Piece live action. I haven't done a review, a breakdown, nothing. Everybody else has, so I figured, hey, I might as well do something. I thought it'd be the simplest thing to just do a pros and cons list, because was this show perfect? No. Was it hot garbage? No, it was a good show. It was a lot of fun. It was very enjoyable. If you like One Piece, you're more than likely to enjoy this show. So let's talk about it. No particular order. We're just going to touch up on the pros and cons. Of course, this is all in my opinion. If you guys agree or disagree, let me know in the comments. The first pro, casting. Yes, the casting. I very much enjoyed who they got to play each character. The actors were great. For the most part, right? I want to say 90% of the casting was very well done. The Straw Hats especially. I love the Straw Hat crew. I love all the actors in the crew. I think the chemistry was definitely there. And you feel the love in the air, right? You feel the love in the room when all the Straw Hats are together. And without the right casting, this show just wouldn't have worked. One of the things with One Piece is that all the characters, especially the main cast, are just so likable. So if you didn't get the right cast, this show was just never going to work. And I'm glad they pulled it off and they got the best group of guys and Nami to be, the Straw Hats and really capture their essence. And I think they did that extremely well. Now let's touch up on one of the big cons, which is Monkey D. Garp. Yes, our favorite Vice Admiral was in the first episode of the One Piece live action, which is pretty insane, right? We saw him all over the place. Garp was at Roger's execution in the beginning of the story. Garp was present during like Usopp's arc with Kobe. He called Mihawk for him to go to the Baratier. He met with Luffy during Arlong Park, which is insane, right? Like what is going on here? That is the part of the story that the writers changed the absolute most by far. Garp and Kobe, obviously, but more Garp, because even Garp's character didn't even match his character in the story. Like, you know how the Straw Hats captured their essence? Garp didn't really capture the essence of Garp, or the actor, I mean. And maybe that was the writing issue. Maybe, let's not blame the actor. It could have been the writers that are like, hey, we want to kind of throw people off and make it seem like Garp is the final villain or something. So be more serious. Don't be the jolly old Garp that we know from the manga and the anime. And I gotta say, I'm not 100% happy with that decision in regards to what they did with Garp. Did he have some moments that were pretty cool? Yeah, I guess. There were some decent moments with Garp, but I think for the most part, I think it could have been handled better. And I'm not claiming I'm a better writer than these Hollywood Netflix people, but I think it could have been executed in a better way. Sure, you can get that B story of Garp and Kobe, but did he have to interact with Luffy and the other Straw Hats as much as they did? Which obviously this never happened in the original manga or anime. That's the part that I think a lot of people would agree with. That I don't think it was necessary, but it's all my opinion, guys. So that is one major con for me. It was just Garp overall. His character could have been handled much better. Next, let's touch up on a pro. Something I very much enjoyed about this live action was the look. The sets, the production design, the wardrobe, the makeup, the hairstyling, everything. I think they truly captured the world of One Piece, right? The look of One Piece. It is One Piece live action, baby. They got it to the T. I love the look, the sets, even the wardrobe, guys. Like, the costumes are sick. They use outfits that the Straw Hats used on different volume covers and chapter color spreads, things like that. I very much enjoyed that aspect of the live action. The overall look is just beautiful, and it's truly One Piece. All right, let's jump onto another con. For me personally, I think that this live action could have been 10 episodes. Yes, 10 episodes, not 8. Because I thought, before I started watching this, that I thought we were going to see all of the East Blue. I thought we were going to end on them getting to the Grand Line, or at least right after they leave Logtown and the whole, Monkey D. Dragon, Smoker, all that stuff happens. I thought that was going to be like the finale. But, it ended a little bit earlier than I had anticipated, and I wish we would have gotten to see Monkey D. Dragon, Smoker, all that good stuff, the Logtown moments that were, super epic. I would have loved to have seen that, and I wish we could have gotten like 2 more episodes so that we could have ended, getting to the Grand Line, and then for season 2, which probably is not going to come out for 2, 3, 4 years, who knows? And especially because of this writer strike going on, who knows when we're going to get season 2. I would have liked to have seen a little more of the story, which this might be a good segue to talk about a pro. A big pro for me was the pacing. So kind of a paradox, right? I'm like, oh, it could have been 10 episodes, but I'm also complimenting the pacing. I think the pacing was phenomenal. They covered, roughly like 40, 45 episodes of the anime into 8 episodes of the live action. I think that's great, and I think that the pacing was overall very well executed. I think that every episode covered a lot of ground, a lot of chapters, and they did what they could. It didn't feel rushed, and it didn't feel, too slow paced, besides maybe a couple moments here and there that you can nitpick. Like maybe there was like a 2 or 3 minute stretch that felt like it could have been 1 minute or something like that, but it was very rare to get those moments. It wasn't a common thing, but I liked it a lot. I liked the pacing a lot. Next, let's touch up on another con, which is awkward moments, right? Awkward silence, cringy moments, right? There was a few of those scattered throughout the live action, and for some people it might have been funny. For some people it's a little cringe, but it's a live action adaptation of a very silly anime, so of course there's gonna be these cringy, awkward moments, but they were pretty common. Like I think every 5 or 10 minutes there'd be a kind of like awkward moment where you're not sure if you want to laugh or it's just cringe. I don't know, but you gotta look at it, you gotta take it with a grain of salt, right? Because again, it's a live action adaptation of a very silly anime, especially early on East Blue. The gags were everywhere, right? So you gotta take it with a grain of salt. But there was a lot of these awkward, cringy moments where I feel that if somebody who hasn't watched the anime watches this, I feel like there's gonna be a lot of moments where they're like, what? That wasn't funny, or that was dumb. Like, what was that? And yeah, but no big deal, no big deal. Another pro for me was that there was a couple moments that things got pretty graphic, and I thought that was really cool. Like the opening for Zoro, which is a huge difference from the manga. I think this is one of the things the live action actually did better than the manga, which is Zoro's introduction, because it foreshadows the Baroque work stuff with that guy Mr. 7, and we just get to see that, oh, this Zoro guy's a beast, right? This guy's a monster, and the way he splits that guy in half, it's pretty nuts. Like, it was a very graphic intro for Roronoa Zoro, and I gotta say, I really enjoyed it. And there's a few other moments throughout the live action that are very graphic as well, and are more adult themed, because I was considering telling my younger family members, I have a lot of family members that are like 4, 5, 6 years old, that they should watch this show, and thank God I watched it first, because now I'm like, hell no, they are not watching this. This is a little too graphic, especially like Helmeppo's moment in the, you know what I'm talking about. Next, another con for me is our boy Usopp never had an epic moment in his own arc. Besides the kiss, of course, but he never had his moment. He never showed courage. He never showed bravery. He never had that big moment like he had in the anime and manga, that, he grabbed his balls and said, hey, I'm brave. I can do this. Even though I'm afraid, I can still, I'm still going to do this. I'm still going to fight. He just felt like a coward throughout his own arc, and he never had that moment of courage and bravery that I was waiting for. And I feel like they missed the mark with his character, especially that scene where he doesn't know how to shoot a freaking cannon, dude. The guy doesn't know how to shoot a cannon. He's the sniper of the Straw Hats, and he doesn't even know how to use a cannon. That was a flop. That I didn't like that. I thought they kind of dropped the ball with a few Usopp moments for sure. But overall, I like the actor. I think the actor plays him great. It's just the writing-wise, I think they missed a lot of marks with his character, and he was easily my least favorite Straw Hat, and I think most people would agree. And last but not least, my final pro is simply Eiichiro Oda's involvement in this project. Think about it, guys. Without Oda, this live action would have sucked. The reason it's so good, and again, it's not perfect, but I think most people that watch it will enjoy it. They'll enjoy it for what it is, which is a live action adaptation of an anime or a manga. You know, how many live actions are better than the original? None. I can't think of a single one. But how many can compete with their original, at least, you know, pretty closely? I think this one gets kind of close in a way, closer than pretty much any other live action I've ever seen. And I'm even talking about Disney as well. Like, have you seen those Disney live actions? They are not even close to the original at all. This one's at least, you know, it's up there. In terms of live actions, it might be one of the greatest of all time, if you really think about it. I'm talking about Disney, everything. Disney, anime, everything. That's hugely thanks to Oda's involvement. I think if Oda wasn't involved, I think this would have crashed and burned very quickly. I think that him being a big part of the project almost forced the writers to be perfectionists and to try to get as much right and done the right way as possible. It also helps me look the other way in terms of some of the changes, like all the Garp and Kobe stuff, changes with like Arlong Park and Nami's character, her introduction, all that stuff, like all these changes, like Buggy, everything, all the changes that you see in the live action, the stuff in Usopp's Island, everything was approved by Oda. So at the end of the day, if you got a nitpick, if you got a complaint, it was approved by Oda. So Oda's the GOAT. This is now canon. This is now canon in the One Piece multiverse, right? Think about it like a One Piece multiverse, and this is the live action multiverse, and this is the canon of that multiverse, and it was approved by the man himself. So you gotta embrace it. You gotta enjoy it for what it is, and it is a fun watch. I very much enjoyed watching it, and I am very excited for season 2. And my last and final con, which is pretty silly, is that they made Lucky Roo a black man. Just kidding, that is not my final con. I thought it was very funny though, because you know how Disney's always doing like these race swaps. I thought it was hilarious that Lucky Roo, of all people, the guy who's always eating like a big chicken wing, they decided to make him a black guy. I thought that was pretty funny. But and then Ben Beckman looked I feel like they made Ben Beckman look too old as well. I think he looked kind of lame. He looked like a retired golfer or something. Like, I don't know, he just looked odd to me. He didn't seem like a tough, badass right-hand man of an emperor. He just seemed like a really lame ex-surfer guy who plays video games or something. I don't know. He just seemed odd to me. But no, one of my last cons, really, my actual last con, is some of Luffy's fights in the live action, like when he'd get punched, especially, you see it a lot during his first fight with Arlong, is that he feels damage in these fights. Like every time Arlong punches him, it's almost like if Arlong had armament hockey, and Luffy's getting harmed by a lot of these punches. And I thought that was kind of odd because, as we all know, Luffy ate the gum fruit or the Nika fruit, whatever you want to call it. But he should be immune to blunt damage, right? Like punches, kicks, things like that. So Arlong causing him pain was just kind of weird, and it kind of threw me off. It kind of took me out of it a little bit. But, you know, whatever. It is what it is. That's just one nit. But yeah, guys, those are my pros and cons. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, drop a like and hit that sub button. I'd really, really appreciate it. Take care, guys.